Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Chris from Practical Worship Leading. I wanted to make this quick video to show you kind of advanced chord chart formatting or creation in Planning Center. This is something I do a lot and I get asked about a lot, and so wanted to show it to you. So this is going to be a little bit like everything I've done here on Practical Worship Leading. Is think of this as you're just peeking over my shoulder, seeing me do a thing that I do pretty often. It's not going to be super slick or fast. You can always speed up, but hopefully you'll glean some good tips along the way. This is my idea that it used to be back in the day. You could watch a blacksmith do his job, and that was called apprenticing. Even in the kind of recording engineering land, you used to be able to go into a studio and watch someone apply their craft, and that's how you learn. So think of it like this. This is I'm calling this advanced chord charts or chord sheets in Planning Center. Advanced only meaning this is not the only way to do it. This is just some of my little tweaks and things I do here. So first thing I wanted to say is I'm here in Planning Center. You can actually create a free account for, I believe it's either up to 5 users or 10 users. And so even if you're not using Planning Center for scheduling or any of the lots of things that it does, you can still use it to create chord charts, custom chord charts for yourself. And so this is actually one of those instances. I write songs, and so I'll actually build out my own songs as custom chord charts in Planning Center. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. But again, that's just first tip number 1 is you can do that. Just sign up and you'll have access to this free tool. So the first thing you do is look under Songs tab and then click Add a Song. I'm going to do a Christmas song just because it's in the public domain and I won't get a copyright strike. So let's do What Child Is This? I'm over on Ultimate Guitar, just stealing some stuff from here. So all you got to do is put in the title of your song. It looks like they know that it searches CCLI, which is the Christian Copyright Licensing Institution, something like that. And so it automatically searches that when you just type in a title, and when it's got a lower number like this, that's when you know it's like a hymn or an old open source thing, so or a public domain thing. So that is the one I want. It's even telling me that's usually in this key. That'd be interesting. Let's see what Ultimate Guitar says. A minor. So often I'm going to treat this like I know the song I'm wanting to build, and so what I will often do, there's 2 things I want to do. Let me back up a little bit. There's 2 things I will often do. I'll just Google, see if there's already a chord chart in existence. The best thing is I use a thing called Chord Pro. That's going to be part of this process. So Chord Pro. So I Google for Chord Pro and see if anyone out there already has a Chord Pro version. Now, what's Chord Pro? I'll show you that in a second. But basically, it has all the chords in line with the words in square brackets to lock those chords into the right syllable that you want them on. So this is not Chord Pro. This is just a basic, normal chord chart. It's a fine chord chart. I might even use it. It's already in E minor, so I'm going to skip over from Ultimate Guitar. But again, sometimes you'll be able to find Chord Pro. Yeah, I actually already have Praise Charts pulled up as a tab. But yeah, Praise Charts is a place you can often buy Chord Pro. So if you can't find it anywhere for free, this chords and lyrics option, it's like, so $3 and you already have a Chord Pro version. Let me see what happens if I click on that. That's going to make me dance through some things. But when it says editable in Praise Charts, that means they're going to give it to you in Chord Pro. The other place to get this is Worship Together. And that's even sweeter because they have a... So if did I do that wrong? Or did they just change everything? Oh, new website. Look at there. So I don't know Calvary's enough. Let's see. But how great thou art. What is this one? Let's see. Okay, there we go. That loaded. So here's just a random song. I mean, I know the old song. I don't know the new version, but they have this add to planning center button, which is sweet. You can link it to your planning center account. It'll just dump it in with the Chord Pro, which is just awesome. Free chart. I think you have to have an account. I already am. Hopefully it's all saved. Yeah. Free chart. What's that going to give me? Let's see. Save that. Sorry, I got a little tiny. Okay, so that's a PDF. Again, that's not Chord Pro, but I do know that when you do the when you click the planning center button, that gives it to you in Chord Pro. Well, I'll show you what Chord Pro looks like here in a second. But that's how you get what you want. So I'm going to go the hardest path. Let's say I didn't want to buy it. I can't find it for free. I'm going to make my own. And so here's just a normal chord chart for this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Let me finish out what I'm doing here. E minor. That's another sweet thing in Planning Center. This is also, you can be able to transpose instantly. So in E minor, I don't know, maybe I want to play with C shapes. And let's see what it does. I don't really know what that little extra drop down is, but if I click on, so in Planning Center, this is kind of, if you're not familiar with it, the All Arrangements tab has the basic info for the song, including copyright. If you have copyright stuff, you can click Edit to set all that up. Administration, themes. You can start tagging your songs, which is really cool. I use that for liturgy and stuff like that. My head is in the way. Let me move that over. And then you have arrangements here, so you could have the same song but by different artists. But for our purposes, we're the artist. So default arrangement, then you can say what kind of keys you want. You can add keys doing this. I want to play it in A minor was one of the ones I saw, A minor. Then there's capo. You can add a capo. So I want a capo 2 and play it in G. And so when I make my chord chart, it'll automatically make those capo versions in the key, which is sweet. That's probably here. That's what was happening. There's no chords and lyrics right now, so it didn't show anything. So hopefully I'm getting through that. It makes sense to you. You can add files, like you can add audio files by uploading. You can link to different things. But here is the meat and bones, the chord chart section. I know a lot of worship leaders who have just never messed with this lyrics and chords button. They just link to CCLI or song select by CCLI and just import or upload PDFs. That's cool. If you aren't doing that, maybe that's a thing you can do. But we're talking about making our own so that we can rearrange and transpose and all that stuff on the fly. So here is lyrics and chords. So we got our title already that we entered earlier, and now I'm going to paste in. Again, I just Googled this. I found this We Are Worship thing, and it already has these chords. So let's just drop that over here. Now, so first thing you'll notice, I have a default formatting. I don't know if this is exactly when you first sign up for Planning Center, if this is what it's going to look like, but it's what they call... actually, what's the opposite of monospace? It's using this font, Arial Helvetica, which is the opposite of monospaced. If you know anything about fonts, that means like an I is skinnier than a W. So if you can see that, this W is very wide and the I is very thin. But there's a thing called monospace, which is what these fonts were, where all the letters are the same width. And so that's why they use this type of old computer looking font. A monospace font is so that all the widths are the same so that you're always lining up with a letter. And so I'm going to show you how to change that. So I can go to Courier or monospace. See, it even says it in the name. And so there we go. Let me, if I type something, that's a little trick here. When you paste something, it's like the program doesn't realize you've made any changes, so it doesn't update this preview window over here. But if I type something in, it says typing, and then it'll say saved. And there we go. Now it uploaded it. It looks like my default is also 2 columns. You can change that here if you want to. You can change the font size, stuff like that. So this is an okay. Maybe I'll just match this up 1 column. This is an okay. So I've matched it up to here, and already Planning Center is doing some great lifting for us. Maybe heavy lifting, maybe not. But it's already formatted the title, put in the author, it's in the public domain, it's put that in. It's also, you can see these are bold, so it's already identified the chords versus the lyrics. And if I just don't do anything else, I've already got a transposable. Oh, let me double check one thing. We know that we dropped it in the key of E minor, so you do have to make sure to say what is your original key that you just put the chords in so that they match. So now it knows these chords are in E minor, and if I ever want a different key, it'll do the right thing. So right now you can see E minor here, E minor here. But watch this, it can transpose instantly. So if I wanted to play it in A minor, there you go. All the chords in A minor. Sweet, right? So if I'm capoing around on a guitar or whatever, that's already a huge benefit to us. Now, if I go back to the default arrangement tab, I've got it in A minor and I've got it in E minor. And like I said, it already has the capo chord chart, and these are as PDFs right now. So if I can preview, and it'll say capo 2, G minor. So that's pretty sweet. If you wanted to add more capos, you can just say, click add capo. So this is D capo 2. Boom. Instantly. If my guitarist wanted a capo 2 version, there you go. So hopefully you're seeing some of the benefits. Now that's just the basic kind of version. And it's funny that I'm using minor chords. I don't know how much theory you know. There's every minor has a relative major. Every major has a relative minor. And so I don't have to, I can actually call this key 2 different names. Sorry, this is not what you signed up for, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. So A minor is actually the same as C major as far as scale structure and chord structure. So the way to know that is if you're in a minor key, you go up 1, 2, 3 half steps up. So A sharp, B, C, so that I know that this is actually the same thing as C major. So I tend to list it that way because I don't have highly trained music theory students. Let's see, E minor would be E, F, F sharp, G. So that's 1, 2, 3 half steps up. So G major is what we're talking about here. And so that starts to make more sense. I'm a guitarist also, so primarily. So now you'll start to see. Let me make sure that's G major. Delete the key. C major should start. Okay. So let me make sure I didn't mess things up here. If I call this instead of E minor, I'm going to call it G major because it's still the same chords. There we go. That should give me my chords in C. There we go. So it starts in an A minor, but you can see in the key of C, your major chords are C, F, and G. So that's why we've got C. Oh, this should be E minor. Well, like I said, this is not what you signed up for. We can look through things, but because they have a major. Good old Christmas songs. This is like, I chose accidentally a little kind of a fancy chord progression to look through. But here we go. So we've got this. You can skip over that whole relative major minor thing. But how do we make this into Chord Pro? So that's what we're aimed at now. So what Chord Pro would look like, so let's just do this first line. What Chord Pro would look like is, you can see this E minor is meant to be played at the beginning of child. What child? So they want that to be played there. Now, this is all well and good right now because we've just, I'm going to put this a little more precise. We've just lined this all up. But what happens if instead of a D over or a E minor, what if you transpose it and then it's an F sharp minor? Well, look, you've just shoved everything over, okay? So that's one of the problems with just having a basic chord chart, is the chords are not locked in. Also, if I do something like this, now those chords are just floating off in the air, and they're not locked to the word itself. The last thing is, this is a very wide, since every I is just as wide as every W, you're using a lot of space that you don't have to use. So I aim at single page chord charts as much as I can, and so those are the main benefits of Chord Pro. I would say is it's locked to the word, and so you can transpose it. Excuse me, and then also you can fit more words onto your page than with just this basic mono-spaced chord chart. So how do we get there? So I'm gonna do it the manual way first, and then I'll show you a trick I've got. So what you can do is go like this. D, that's a Chord Pro to land now. Okay. G, D or F sharp. And I'm going from right to left because as you work your way across this thing, it would be shoving everything over. So let's say I didn't do it this way. As soon as I do E minor, you can see I've lost where this chord was supposed to be. So that's one little trick for you, is go right to left, even though that seems strange. But then you're keeping those chords where they're supposed to be in relation to the words. Here's another thing Chord Pro is going to do. So they had to add this space manually because of the width of that D or F sharp. If you remember, if I go back and look at, see, they had to line that up like this. I don't have to do that with Chord Pro. So once I get rid of these, and then I can get rid of all that space, and look what Planning Center does for me. It looks exactly the same, and they add in the space, so they're actually showing you exactly what you need. And if I transpose this to anything, let's do, I don't know, B flat, all of these chords are still synced up no matter what the width of the letters themselves. And then I can go back to whatever the opposite of monospaced is, but Airla Helvetica is that. And so you can see I'm still locked in to each chord goes with each word like that. So super sweet. But you can see that these are wrong, right? Which again is the problem with just a basic chord chart like that. I'm going to go back for now, because now I'm going to show you that was, yeah, not horrible, but a little bit tedious to go through and have to put those brackets in. What I know about is this tool I'm going to share with you. I'll put this link down in the description. I'm going to copy this whole thing, and I've already got it pulled up. Song Formatter Importer. Sorry, not importer. Song Formatter. So I use this tool all the time. I don't know who made this. Some awesome person, Uke Geeks, and I've just had this bookmarked forever. So what you can do is just paste in. You can play around with only using common chords. So I've got an E sus4. We'll see if it does it right. But what this is going to do is automatically turn a basic monospaced chord chart, as long as I got it lined up right. Peasant king. So I want that right on king. So you might do a little bit of tidying up to make sure it starts right on the word, if that's what you want. King of kings of it. So sweet. But then you just hit run formatter and check it out. It dropped it in and again, it's just using this in relation to this. So if you've got it shoved over, it's gonna put that G right here in the space instead of on the word. So it'll do what you give it. So then the last thing I would do is I'd copy this. You can see we got all the spaces, but I use this program called TextMate. Any text editor with a little bit of advanced editing capabilities will do this thing. So if you do find and replace, I'll go find double spaces and replace with single spaces, and do replace all, keep going until there you go. Now we're down to just single spaces, and then I'll take that over. So hopefully these little tips are helping you out. But there you go. Now I've got it in Chord Pro. And oops, let's go back over to Planning Center and put it in. Now I've got it in Chord Pro. Again, I pasted so this program doesn't know I changed anything. I just do a space and hit a backspace so it'll wake up and notice. And then what I can do is I'm going to go back to Arial, and I'm going to go to 2 columns because I can now. And actually, look at that. It fit in a single column what used to take up half the page. So that's the beauty of doing it this way. I tend to do verse 1, do it just all caps. So some of this is going to get into just personal preference and ways that I tend to build things. I can put in a column break, so that will throw verse 3 over here. But I've got space now, so I can come bigger. Let's try up to 12 point font. Yeah, I don't know how far we can push this. Let's try 13. Sweet. Yeah, so hopefully you're seeing the benefit of Chord Pro. Also, like I said before, if I hit enter before and I wanted a line of lyrics to come to the side before, it would mess everything up. If I just hit enter now, once it updates, you'll see the chords stay with it. They were hanging up in the air before, and now they just stay no matter what I do. If I decide I want to format this a little different, if this line's a little too long, I can fold it under, give it a second to think, and then there you go. It's keeping it. So it's transposable, it's locked in, it's going to stay over the same spot. Super helpful. I think a few more. So that's the basics of the advanced stuff. I think now I'm going to dive into a little bit of the land of what are some just tips and best practices, I guess, of ways that I often make chord charts. First off, if you were going to do that, if you just had lyrics only, you can totally do that. Let me just show you how I would do that. So say for some reason, maybe you're writing a song, maybe you're arranging a song, you haven't decided which exact actual chords you're going to do. So you could just bring in the lyrics. Let's actually, once this automatically saves, by the way. You could, once you click that back button, it saves as well. So now you can see all these chord charts are updated, which is sweet. Boom. And if you're using Planning Center to schedule your team, then they have access to the most up-to-date chord charts automatically. We can talk about that some other day. But so let's say I'm doing. Let's just call it a new arrangement. The Chris version. Create a new arrangement in the Chris version. So this is not some famous recording artist. I'm going to play it in G. Again, you could do tags if you wanted to. I can talk through my tags someday if you want to. So this is the Chris version. So I've got a whole new chord chart I can do. So I know it's going to be in G. So here's just lyrics. It's uglier. It's not formatted. So I can do this and a few best practices. Again, like I said before, I always do like this. All caps. If you do all caps, this program knows to make it bold. For common words like verse and chorus, it knows. But I don't know. Sometimes for like a turn or something, doing it all caps will clue it in what you're talking about. So Here we go. So then say I've got lyrics and I've just got maybe a recording out there. Maybe I couldn't find a chord chart with the right chords, or like Ultimate Guitar will have some, God bless them, teenagers making some sketchy, maybe not quite correct chord chart. So if I'm building my own, I could just say, what child is this? Or maybe I want a chord on each one. It is this. So maybe I want, yeah. Who? So I would go through laid to rest and just drop in where your chords are, what you're hearing. So I'd probably listen through once to a recording, just say here's the changes, and then maybe on my guitar, as long as you've got the ear and a little bit of experience, you can pick out the bass note, and then you can just type in. I know this is E minor, D, or F sharp, G, D, E minor, and then you've got D or F sharp over here, and then G, D. Laid to rest. So that's kind of maybe a duh thing, but the little tip is just drop in your brackets where you hear the change happen, and then so the first time through listening through songs, you can drop in your brackets because you know you're going Chord Pro because that's the cool way to go, and then you're gonna put in what's the actual chord. So where first, then what is super good. So that's if you just had lyrics and or maybe you're writing the song again. I'm going to go back to our default arrangement, lyrics and chords. So some more best practices. So intros. What I really like to do is and you'll see this in a lot of chord charts, is I use this pipe symbol. They call it pipe, just a vertical line signal for beginnings of measures. So maybe the intro is maybe it's just an old school hymn intro where you're just doing the first few chords of the song to key people into what you're doing. So E minor, D over F sharp, G. Say that's our intro. One thing I forgot to say, and let me do this right now. You can put in the speed. I don't know what. I like 73. That's one of my favorites. I think this one is in 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 4. Maybe it's a 3, but I'm going to say it's 6 for now. And that actually also populates into your chord chart, which is sweet. But then the reason that keyed in is I like to put a pipe symbol at the beginning of the measure, and this will clue people who know music or more classically trained people, like this is the count. So 1, 2, 3, and you can either do slashes. A lot of chord charts do this. 1, so E minor is on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then new measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've probably seen that. So most people who've been around chord chart land will see that. So that's super helpful. Good best practice. I've been toying with the idea of doing dashes because you can see this is a slash chord, so that feels like that's a beat. So I don't know. Y'all can tell me what you think, but that's the beauty of having your own custom chord chart, is you can do it how you want. But that's how I would read that, is 1. The E minor is a dotted half note, basically. So 3 beats. E minor has 3 beats. D over F sharp has 3 beats. G has 3 beats. D has 3 beats. And then I don't close the measure because often that's actually happening on this next chord. So that's the way I denote that. Another best practice thing is just, hey, know that the beginning of the measure is actually somewhere farther down from here. And then another best practice, if you've got the end of your line has a pause or musical something going on that's not denoted in the chord chart. So say, for instance, what child is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping? Say you had a pause there. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Da, 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 da. Maybe you have a pause of a full measure. Mary's lap is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you've got a 2 measure pause, most people would write it like this. 1, 2. Well, most people would write it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then another B, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Study that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Six beats. So most people would write it like that. Again, I've been playing around with the dashes instead of the slashes. This is visually very obvious, like to a musician reading through, like, oh, cool, I got a pause, and look, it's told me 2 measures of pause. So I've started shorthanding this. If I just show that, that I think that's plenty. That's enough information at least. It may not be as obvious, but that says, okay, 1 measure of B, another measure of. So you could do it this way: another measure of B. I think how most, again, it's a little bit less obvious. It's just a little pipe, but that's how I do my shorthand. The way they would play that is B, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. B again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I just want them to hold the B for 2 measures, I'll just do a dash like this, and it's saying, like, basically stay on the same note for 2 measures. And I think my musicians have been able to understand my shorthand. So again, maybe I hadn't thought through that, but this is like, I'm not writing every single beat, I'm not writing every single change, but if there's a pause that I want at the end of a line, I do that as much as I possibly can. And then, like I said up here, any intros, any instrumentals, I like to write out. If these were just full measures, I would just do it more like this, and save some of the dashing around. So if it looked like that, it would be E for 6 beats, D over F sharp for 6 beats, G 2 3, D 2 3, 4 5, D 5 6. Put it that way. So those are some best practices. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Yeah, we could talk all day. Put in the comments if you have specific questions of what do I suggest for doing the thing. You can own it. That's kind of what I wanted to give you, the keys to show you how to do this, because you can go to town. I already showed you how to do column breaks. Under this options thing, you can do page breaks. You can do if you modulate. That's another sweet thing when you've got it in here as a custom chord chart, is you can just say transpose +1, and so it just went from G to A flat. If I change this out, now it's going from G to A, and look, the chord chart, it automatically dropped in key A, and it automatically has all those chords up into A. So that's pretty sweet. I think that's the big stuff. I'm trying to think through. Again, I'll put the links to this song formatter importer. That's so sweet and so helpful. Sometimes, okay, this is the farthest advanced thing. Probably nobody wants to know this, but I worked on this and I like it. So I have this thing. Let me grab this from over here. Yeah, here we go. Regex to remove Chord Pro chords. So here's the keys to the kingdom. So sometimes, if you go diving all the way into Chord Pro land, you will want just the lyrics. Now, there's 2 ways you can get at this. So this happens at, like, for me, for baptisms, I'll want to do just a lyric sheet without the chords, and it's like, well, I could print the chords. I've got the PDFs. If it's not that many people, I can print this. You can also do, so this lyrics option, under the lyrics and chords button, there's this lyrics checkbox. Oh my gosh, I forgot to say, these can do Nashville numbers. I don't know what numerals is, but Nashville numbers you can do. So you could, if you're one of those fancy people, I'm not super amazing at this yet, because my people don't know how to read it either. So I haven't gotten to, but yeah, you can do that. But focus, Chris. The lyrics is what I'm talking about here. And so if you have that lyrics checked, it automatically under the arrangement section over here has this lyrics PDF. And it's not perfect, but it does take out the chords and just keep the lyrics. You'll end up with these dashes, unfortunately. But so maybe that'll do what you need. But I often want to like make a Word doc like for baptism. I just want the lyrics. I need to format it to, multiple songs per page, stuff like that. So the way to do that is using this remove Chord Pro chords deal. So if you have any text editor, I'm going to copy this in case I don't have it. If you have any text editor, I'll have to come back. Okay. So I use TextMate on a Mac. Oh yeah, here we go. So I copied over the Chord Pro earlier, but I want to get rid of all these things. Man, that's annoying to have to go through and get rid of them. But if I've got that little code, I just have to do find and replace, and drop in this weird looking piece of code, and say I'm looking for a regular expression. That's a kind of like a computer language basically. And so that code is a regular expression, and what it does is it looks for the square brackets and then any words or numbers, I can't remember what else, spaces that are inside there. So hopefully this will catch all your slash chords, all the things, if I just go through and see what it's finding. So it's finding that E minor, it's finding the D or F sharp. So I can just go replace all, boom, and I'm got rid of all of my little Chord Pro square brackets. And so then I might clean up too to have like this thing has a bunch of these. Oops. If I do Command F to find that, and then I'm going to replace all of those dashes with nothing. There we go. Those all went away. Well, not all of them. What's this? This is a different length of a dash, it looks like. Yeah. They're getting tricky, but there we go. So in a few seconds, I was able to get rid of, looks like I still got a couple of extra spaces, so I can do double spaces with single spaces. There we go. So that is the height of of Chord Pro jockeying. If you wanted to go get rid of everything, that's my secret little piece of code. You're welcome. You're welcome to have it, and maybe I'll put it in the description too. So anyway, thanks for listening or watching. This has been long. Again, I'm just having you look over my shoulder of how I do things, rambling through. I hope someone finds it helpful out there, and leave some comments if you have any questions. All right, good luck, Godspeed. Keep going, keep leading worship, keep praising God. See you guys later.